Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6, text 26. Yato yato nischalati manaschanchalamasthiram tatastato niyam yaitad atmanyeva vasham nayet. Yatah yatah, wherever, nischalati, becomes verily agitated. Mana, the mind, chanchalam, flickering. Asthiram, unsteady. Tatah tatah, from there. Niyamya, regulating. Etat, this. Atmani, in the self. Eva, certainly. Vasham, control. Nayet, must bring under. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: from wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. Please repeat. From wherever the mind wanders due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under the control of the self. You can actually reduce the volume on the screen, There's a plus and minus button on the left bottom of the screen. You go close, you can see. It's a touch button. Don't press anywhere else but the plus and minus. Minus, just minus all the way. Thanks. Purport. The nature of the mind is flickering and unsteady, but a self-realized yogi has to control the mind. The mind should not control him. One who controls the mind and therefore the senses as well is called Goswami or Swami, and one who is controlled by the mind is called dāsa or the servant of the senses. A Goswami knows the standard of sense happiness. In transcendental sense happiness, the senses are engaged in the service of Rishikesha, or the supreme owner of the senses, Krishna. Serving Krishna with purified senses is called Krishna consciousness. That is a way of bringing the senses under full control. What is more, that is the highest perfection of yoga practice. So, in this verse, Krishna is explaining how we have to control our mind. Now the mind is, 3 words are used in this verse. You see, Nischalati becomes verily agitated. And there is Chanchalam. Chanchalam, flickering, and then Asthiram, unsteady. 3 words are used to denote how flickering the mind is. Just like Harer Nam, Maiva Kevalam, Palo Nasteva Gatarana. When it's said 3 times, you should understand this is very important. So, different words are used but meaning the same thing. Chalati means, to go. Nischalati becomes verily agitated, always moving. Chanchalam, again, chanchalam, flickering. And sthiram means to stay steadily, but asthiram means so it doesn't stay in one place. And so if you see, it subtle differences in the meaning also. Sthiram means to stay with one thing. Asthiram means to move in many places. Now flickering is to have, it also means to move around, but also about the same thing there will be different opinions. Like Prabhupada said, the water in summer, we like water, but the same water we will hate in the winter. In Singapore we don't have to think much about it. But if the temperatures are extreme, then about the same subject. Asthira means moving in different subjects, but about the same subjects having different conflicting thoughts at one time and another time. So, in this way, we are moving in many ways. Like they say rotation, revolution, so that all kinds of movements. So similarly, the mind is first of all moving from one topic to another, and about one topic it's having many different opinions about one topic. In this way, many ways the mind is moving. And it is not only moving when we are not doing anything or when we are engaged in material activities, but even when we are trying to control the mind by yogic process, still the mind is doing these things. And yoga, as we understand, is not only a procedure of a few minutes or a couple of hours. Yoga means to stay connected with God, Krishna. And that we have to do. Kalam nayed akhilamityupadesha saram. Kalam nayed. Actually, that same word is used here, nayed. You see, vasham nayed. Must bring under. See. तन्नामरूपचरितादिसुकीर्तनानुस्मृत्योः क्रमेण रसना मनसि नियोज्य तिष्ठन् व्रजेतदनुरागी जनानुगामी कालं नयेदखिलमित्युपदेशसारम्. Kalam nayed akhilamityupadeshasaram. So, see nayet, this nayet is word is used here. So nayet means must. See, should utilize. So, kalam, time must be utilized. Akhilamityupadeshasaram. Akhilam means in all these ways, fully. Krishnarthe akhila cheshta. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has, when he was giving instructions to Sanatana Goswami, he asked him to write books on devotional service. And he has listed down all the topics, what you have to cover, Sanatana Goswami, what you have to cover. So one of them is Krishnarthya Akhila Cheshta. I think I'll just go there and come back. Madhya 22.126. Krishnarthe Akhila Cheshta Tat Kripavalokana Janmadinadi Mahotsava Loya Bhaktagan. So this is all listing. See, this is 31st one. 31st point. One should perform all endeavors for Krishna. So Akhilam means all pervading, or in full, that kind of meaning. So Krishna Arthe means for Krishna's satisfaction, for Krishna's purpose. Akhila Cheshta. We have to take up many endeavors. What does that mean? Use all our senses, all our faculty of gross body, subtle body have to be used. Actually, there's a nice purport where this is mentioned that gross body and subtle body both must be used in Krishna's service. So the subtle body has to be used in hearing and chanting. This is, I think, in the first canto of 4th chapter somewhere. So the subtle body, the mind intelligence, has to be sharpened by the hearing process and the chanting process. And then of course, chanting is karmendriya, speech. Then gross body has to be used in actually engaging in different services with the body. That is what it means by tanu, vak, manobhir. In Hindi they say tan, man, dhan. So, of course, dhan is there, wealth, but here it is a tanu, vak. Vak means speech, and mana. So, in this way, we have to do akhila cheshta and make many plans and execute on those plans for expanding Krishna consciousness. So, now going back, kalam nayed akhilamit upadesha saram. Upadesha saram means the essence of all advice. This verse is the essence of all advice. This is from Nectar of Instruction by Rupa Goswami, Upadesha Amrita, verse 8. The essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind. In this way, one should reside in Vraja, Golok Vrindavan Dham, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. One should follow in the footsteps of the Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to His devotional service. So everything is here in this one verse. So one have to kalam nayat akhilam ityupadesha. So all our time should be used. So that is the yoga. Now in that endeavor, yatata means in that endeavor of perfection, yato nischalati chanchalam manah chanchalam asthiram tato niyam nyaitat atmanyeva vasham nayet. So the mind will go. Now it is not possible, okay, today I am not controlled, self-control, and tomorrow I am self-controlled. It doesn't happen overnight. So there is a process. I mean, there is a, ramp. This height to this height, I cannot jump like this. There should be a ramp. So that ramp is this sadhana bhakti, where we are trying to go from the point where we have no Krishna consciousness to 100% Krishna consciousness, which is the prema, the highest achievement of love of Godhead. So this ramp of sadhana bhakti, that's why there is a nice verse, Aradhito yadi haris tapasa tatah kim, naradhito yadi haris tapasa tatah kim, antar bahir yadi haris tapasa tatah kim, nantar bahir yadi haris tapasa tatah kim. It is said in the Narada Pancharatra, I guess, that if you are worshipping Hari, what is the use of austerity? If you are not worshipping Hari, what is the use of austerity? If you are perceiving the Lord inside and outside of everything, what is the use of any other tapasya? And if you are not seeing the Lord like that, what is the use of tapasya? Now you may ask, what is the use of tapasya then? So it is said that at this point of 0 and this point of 100, if I am not interested in going from 0 to 100, there is no use of tapasya. And if I am already at 100, there is no use of tapasya. But to go from 0 to 100, we need tapasya. To climb this ramp, we need tapasya. Because by nature, Maya, the passion and ignorance will bring us down. Just like gravity, when you leave something, it will fall down. So here in the material world, everything gravitates towards ignorance. Avidya, karma samjnanya. This potency of Maya is called avidya potency. It's in nescience. Nescience means opposite of science, opposite of knowing, nescience. It is not knowing or ignorance. So it always gravitates towards ignorance. So that's why, what is that? Loke vyavayasmi matya seva. Loke vyavayami shamadya seva nitya hijantor nahi tatra chodana vyavasthitisteshu vivaha yajna suragrahairasu nivrittirishta. We don't need any instruction to engage in sinful activities. If you don't give any instructions, automatically it will go to sinful activities, the mind. He doesn't need. Nai tatra chodana. Chodana means there's no need of instruction, there's no need of any counseling to go, okay, please do sinful activity like this. No. You don't counsel, automatically it will go there. It gravitates towards it. To climb up only we need the effort. So tapasya is to resist that. When you climb up, when you're walking uphill, then you have to resist the gravity. That's why it is tiring. So that is tapasya. Some suffering. What is the suffering? Actually, the suffering is because we are making an effort not to go against our base tendencies of passion and ignorance. To climb to sattva guna. Tata rajastamo bhava kamalobhadayaschaye cheta etayaranavidham sthitam sattve prasidati. For that we have to do nityam bhagavata sevaya. Reading Bhagavatam and serving a pure devotee. So, to climb we need that is tapasya. To fall down, no tapasya needed. You just let yourself without anything, you automatically free fall. You'll have what? Free fall. And you see how free fall works. If you have gone on the roller coaster ride, you will feel the stomach, it's like sucking your breath away. But in the free fall, they don't feel anything. It's just like they are comfortable. The first few moments will be like that, and after that, it's just like. So sometimes when you do sinful activities, it's like that. Free fall, nothing, I'm just enjoying life. But when it hits hard, when you hit hard the ground, that's when the karma hits very, very bad. Horrible. So that's how our mind is. Always chanchalam, asthiram, nischalati. 3 times. Different ways it is moving. As we have said, moves from one topic to another, and within one topic it will have one opinion to another. It is jumping like crazy. So, even while doing our spiritual practice, chanting for example, how much we are focused on our chanting? 2 minutes. 2 minutes is way too long. I think way before that it's already gone. That's how strong the mind is. That is when we are chanting. When we are not chanting, how the mind is going? So, if we are supposed to be 24 hours Krishna conscious, kalam nayed akhilam ityupadeshasara. But even the 2 hours, forget 2 hours, 2 minutes, even forget 2 minutes, 2 seconds. If you can count how many times we have 2 seconds, we continuously remembered, continuously focus on the chanting of the holy name, it's very hard to even point. You see? But we must make that effort. We have to do that. So, what happens? What to do when the mind wanders? Okay, I'm chanting and then the mind wandered and went into something. I was thinking, Then, yato nischalati, manas chanchalam asthiram, tato niyamya itad, bring it back again to the chanting. So here, so go back. Niyamya means what? Regulating. Atmanyeva vasham nayet, bring under control again. So how to bring under control? Manah samyamya macchittaha. This is Krishna consciousness. The whole yoga is summarized in one line. Think in 2.61 verse. Manah samyamya macchittaha. And Prabhupada also many times quoted from the Yoga Sutra. Yoga indriya samyama. Yoga means to control the senses. But this 2.61 very nicely gives the other part of it. Controlling sense is one thing. What to do with the controlled sense? What is it? Oh, not this. Manas samyamya macchitta. Yukta asita matkara. Oh, this is yukta asita matkara. No, not 261. Mana samyamya. Oh yeah, this one. 6.14. Manah samyamya macchitta. Yukta asita matpara. Just now 2.61 also the same thing. Yukta asita matpara. Tani sarvani samyamya. Actually this is also there, yeah. So 260. Tani sarvani samyamya. Actually what is sarvani? Senses. Previous verse is talking about the senses. So those all we have to control. Senses controlling, and yukta asita matparaha. Engage them in Krishna's service. Controlling means from sense gratification, and then engage them. Vashehi yasya indriyani. Vasham. Here also today's verse there is vasham. Atmanyeva vasham nayyet. The senses will go and bring it back. Vashehi yasya indriyani tasya prajna pratisthita. Pratisthita means firmly established, fixed. Consciousness. Prajna pratisthita. So how to come? So this we have to do. So now we are not on that point of always remembering Krishna, but we don't want to remain in never remembering Krishna. So we will sometimes remember, sometimes forget, sometimes remember, sometimes forget, as we are trying to become Krishna conscious. So every time we notice that we have gone, bring it back. Every time notice, bring it back. This is not only during chanting, but all the time. All the time. It is very difficult to do this in the association of worldly minded people. When you are working and you are dealing with all these people. Very difficult. That's why that just now the NOI 8 Jananugami. We have to do it in the association of devotees. Tad anuragi jananugami. That means we have to do it in the association of devotees. Let's see what is jananugami. Jana. Tad anuragi, to Lord Krishna, anuragi, attached. Jana, the persons who are attached to Lord Krishna. Tad anuragi jana anugami, following. This is important. Sato, what is that? Sangatyaga sato vritteh. Sato vritteh means this. Following the association of devotees. Tad anuragi jana anugami. Anugami means following. Tad anuragi means to Lord Krishna, who are attached, jana, the people. So the devotees. You have to follow in the devotees, then this is possible. Association of non-devotees, this always breaks. In the devotees, association of devotees, it is breaking. In the association of non-devotees, it just stays broken. It stays broken. It's very difficult to remember Krishna. That's why we have to associate with devotees. Why we chant in the morning all together? Japa. Why Prabhupada started this japa all together? Because, alone, it's very easy for the mind to wander this place, that place, this place, that place. Not focusing on what we are chanting at all. So, in the association of devotees, then we are forced, and then Prabhupada's tape is there, other devotees are chanting, then I have to chant. So, even though I may feel sleepy, I have to chant. You see? If nobody is there, okay, sleep. Easy. But in the association of devotees, no, let me push myself. So that pushing ourselves against the gravity of this Maya towards ignorance. Gravity is towards ignorance. So against that, pulling ourselves against that is the tapasya. We have to. And the easiest way, as Prabhupada said, is by chanting, because thinking, that verse is there. And what is it? Sanskrit? What does it start? 11.5.38. But what is the verse start? This agachit smaranam vishnor bahvayasena sadhyate oshta spandana matrena kirtanam tu tatovaram. The children should not disturb. Agachit smaranam vishnor. by remembering Krishna, we can remove all our sinful reactions. Agha means sin. So, we can remove all our sinful reactions by Vishnu Smaranam. But Bahvayasena sadhyate. With great endeavor only we can achieve this. But Oshtha Spandana Matrena, just by moving our lips, this can be achieved. Therefore, Kirtanam tu Tatovaram. The main thing is we have to reach the end goal of remembering Krishna. Smartavya Satatam Vishnur Vismartavya Najatuchi. Always remember Krishna and never forget him. And this is interesting. It's a rabbit hole. But that verse, Smartavya Satatam Vishnu, is to always remember Krishna, right? Okay, I understand. Okay, we have to remember Krishna. But Vismartavya Najatuchit, don't forget him at any time. Now it does sound the same. This is same thing said in a different way, right? But actually, it carries more weight to the first one. And let me show you this. First, I'll take you to this one from Nyaya Sutra by Jaimini. Jaimini? No, Gautam Rishi. Gautam Rishi see, this is from the Nyaya Sutra. Purva Parayor Madhye Paravidhir Balavan. Now, between the former rule and the latter rule, the latter is more important. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining many types of yogas, right? But last he told Bhakti Yoga, surrender. So the last instruction is more important. And actually that instruction gives more importance to the first instruction. And that is, I'll show you. The same thing is mentioned in another place. Why I am telling this? This is 197. I was thinking 8197. Okay. Purvapara vidhi madhye parabalavan. Okay, actually this is when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was discussing with Chand Kazi. The scholars of the Quran are not very advanced in knowledge, although there are many methods prescribed. They do not know that the ultimate conclusion should be considered the most powerful. So the ultimate conclusion is most powerful than the previous ones. Now in the purport, there is not much purport here, but in the previous verse, if you go on, Prabhupada is explaining something. Or is it here? No. Actually it's in the other one. Okay. Just now the other one. Purva. The 879. Here. तार मध्य पूर्व विधि प्रशंसा छाड़िया परविधि निंदा करे बलिष्ठ जानिया. Okay, for this we have to understand the previous verse 8.78. Now this is actually a description of Ramachandra Puri. Ramachandra Puri was the god brother of Ishwar Puri. Ishwar Puri is the spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, Ishwar Puri and Ramachandra Puri, their spiritual master is Madhavendra Puri. Now, in the last days of Madhavendra Puri, Ishwar Puri served him very, very humbly. He was taking care of him so nicely. He was cleaning his stool and everything. It was so menial service he was doing of Madhavendra Puri. Whereas Ramachandra Puri was giving advice to Madhavendra Puri, his own guru. Why are you, crying? Because Madhavendra Puri was crying that I am not able to remember Krishna and I am going to leave this body and my life is a waste. Like this, in ecstasy of separation. He was thinking like that, but Ramchandrapuri could not understand that, and then he was advising his guru, no, why are you unhappy? You should be happy. You think about Brahman. So then Madhavendrapuri said, get out, rascal. Nonsense advice you are giving. You are not even fit to be my disciple. I don't want to see you at the end of my life. Get out from here. So because of their offense, he became a Mayavadi, Pakka Mayavadi, and his only job was to find fault with others. Always finding fault with every devotee, including Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, here in this verse, this is actually I think Bhagavatam verse. Yeah, 11:28:1. This was quoted here. What is this? Parasvabhava karmani na prashamsen na garhayet. Remember this second line. Na prashamsen na garhayet. Okay, remember this line. Parasvabhava karmani na prashamsen na garhayet vishvam ekatmakam pashyan prakritya purushena cha. One should see that because of the meeting of material nature and the living entity, the universe is acting uniformly. Thus, one should neither praise nor criticize the characteristics or activities of others. Na prashamsen means don't praise, and na garhayet, don't criticize. Don't praise, don't criticize. First was don't praise, second was don't criticize. Now here in the purport, this verse was spoken from 11:28:1. Now in the case of Ramachandrapuri, he was following only the second instruction. Now, let's see. तार मध्य पूर्व विधि प्रशंसा छाड़िया पर विधि निंदा करे बलिष्ठ जानिया. So, of the two rules, Ramachandra Puri obeys the first by abandoning praise. Na prashamsen very strictly follows. But although he knows that the second is more prominent, he neglects it by criticizing others. Na garhayat he is not following. He garhayat, he criticizes. But the effect of that is, now you see, because he follows one and doesn't follow the other. But actually it ends up that he doesn't follow anything because of this. Why? So second, that's why there's 880. Purva parayor madhye paravidhir bhalavan. The later rule is more prominent than the former rule. So the above mentioned verse from Srimad Bhagavatam gives two injunctions. The first, called Purva Vidhi, is that one should not praise. And the second, Paravidhi, is that one should not criticize. As will be apparent from the following verse, the injunction against praise is less important than the injunction against blasphemy. One should carefully observe that Paravidhi, although one may neglect the Purvavidhi, one should carefully observe the Paravidhi, although one may neglect the Purvavidhi. So, na prashamsen, we can neglect. You see? But na garhayat, we cannot neglect. Okay. Thus, the actual injunction is that one may praise but should not criticize. This is called Shleshokti, or a statement having two meanings. Ramachandra Puri, however, now this is another very important part, acted in just the opposite way, for he neglected the Paravidhi but strictly followed the Purvavidhi. Since he avoided following the principle of not criticizing, Ramachandra Puri broke both the rules. So in other words, Smartavya Satatam Vishnur, first rule, always remember Krishna. Vismartavya na jatuchit, don't forget him at any point. Now that means the latter rule will give more importance to the former rule. You know? And by not following, the latter rule, we will actually not follow the former rule. If we don't follow, don't forget, okay, always remember Krishna, fine, okay, I am remembering. Morning I am remembering, afternoon I am remembering, evening I am remembering, night I am trying to remember, okay. But is there a space of half a moment where we are forgetting? Oh well, there are many. So that as long as that one is done, one is broken, that means the following one, the previous one is not followed. We broke both the rules. We think we were following one and one are following, but that's why the second rule makes the former rule even more prominent. Like Harer Nama eva kevalam. chanting is the only way in Kali Yuga. 3 times mentioned. But then there is 3 times second Paravidhir. Nasteva Gatranyatha. Not that, yes Prabhu, I'm chanting Hare Krishna. 16 rounds I'm chanting. But Ganesh also is there. I'm doing a bit of yoga pranayam also. For mind control. Focus. No. Nastyeva. That is even more important than Harer Nama Eva Kevalam. Because it only stresses the previous one even more. With the exclusion of only Harinam, to the exclusion of everything else, When that is mentioned like that, then it makes the first rule even more prominent. And if we break the second rule even a little bit, demigods also a little bit can. No, finish. The Hare Nama Eva Kevalam we have not followed. So if we don't follow the Vismartavya na jatu chit, Smartavya Satatam Vishnu is not followed. So we have to Kalam Nayed Akhilamit Upadesha Saram. So that's how we must do. That means not a single gap. So that is 100% stage where there is no gap. Now, to come to that stage, there will be so many gaps. And yato nischalati. And in the just few verses before, this is 626, right? 619. We have spoken of this. Yatha deepo nivatastho nengate sopama smrita yogino yatachittasya yunjato yogamatmana. As a lamp in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remains always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self. So our mind must be as a lamp in a windless place. Yatha deepo nivatastho. Vata means wind. Kapha pitta vata. Wind is one. Vata. Nivata means no wind. So nivatastha, a place where there is no wind. Yatha deepo, as a lamp is staying, as a flame is staying without any flickering. So in this case, the flame is not moving from one place to another. It is sthiram, but it is flickering. Staying in the same place, flickering. This is one type of moving. Another type of moving is moving from one place to another. See? That's an example. Now, this is possible. The lamp is, the flame is like that because there is no wind. So, we have discussed this one when we were explaining this verse, that because of its atmosphere surrounding it, it was able to be like that. If there was wind, it wouldn't have been staying like that. So our ability to stay like that without flickering is only possible with our surroundings. If our surroundings are conducive, right? But 619 this is. Now 620 to 23. In the 22nd verse especially, Sthitas Chalati Tattvataha. Then let me take this verse. Okay. Guru Napi Vichal. Yeah, this is the one. Yasmin Sthito Na Dukkhena Guru Napi Vichalyate. Now this is important. Because a flame is able to stay without movement because of no wind, but Gurunapi Vichalyate. Guruna means in the worst possible storm, still you have to remain like the lamp in a windless place. How is that possible? How is that possible? It means even if our surroundings are full of storm, still we have to stay like that. This is difficult. So they explained that while that verse was being explained in that class, that a good example is when we are going on an airplane. When we are moving in an airplane, suppose it's a 5-hour journey. Now we are going, we can see on the seat the speed of the plane. It's going at a speed of, I think 700 kilometers an hour or something like that. We can see that on the screen. That means effectively we are sitting in a place with a wind of 700 kilometers an hour against us, right? But we are sitting comfortably, eating, joking around, sleeping. Nivatastha. There is no wind in the plane, but it is moving at a pace which creates a wind of 700 kilometers an hour. A storm, a typhoon, most devastating typhoon I think has come to 300 kilometers an hour, maybe 400 kilometers an hour maximum. But a plane, 700 kilometers an hour. Why are we able to sit with that without any problem? Because we are in a encapsulated environment, shielded from the outside wind, storm. In other words, we have to create an atmosphere for ourselves. Where? Tad anuragi jananugami, in the association of devotees. In which it is only possible that the flame can remain. So we have to have that capsulated environment. That's why we have to keep in company with devotees and avoid non-devotees. If we allow a little bit leak in the plane, air from outside, finish. Same thing, a ship also is kind of the same example. There is a whole storm going on, but of course, actually it is worse on a ship because you also will move. But at least the water is not coming in. Actually, we are floating on a massive amount of water on a ship. We are able to do that because it's watertight, strongly watertight. But if a little bit leak is there, drown. And Titanic, they say God cannot sink this ship. I think it did. Iceberg, which is, God has created millions of universes, each having millions of planets, each having millions of stones and icebergs or whatever. One small iceberg. They say God cannot do it. One small iceberg of God can do it. And that too in the first journey. I think it did not, no ship sunk faster than that. So this is how. So if we depend on our own strength, that's what will happen. So we have to depend on the strength of Krishna. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. Yatra Partha Dhanurdhana. Tatra Srir Vijayo Bhutir Dhruvani Tirmatir Mama. Victory will be there where there is Yogeshwar, not where there is Yogi. Yogi will fall down. Vishwamitra fell down. Saubhari Muni fell down. Yogi can fall. But where there is Yogeshwar, there is no fall down. Because he is the master of not only yoga system but also the Maya. He is the controller of gravity. We are talking about gravity, that gravity towards ignorance. So yogi cannot contain himself. He may fall. But Krishna, when we take shelter of Krishna, then yes, no more patanti adhaha. Stay with him. Yad gatva nani vartante. Whereas rather, patanti adhaha. So yasmin sthito na dukhyana guruna pi vicharyate. So that's why we have to stay in the association of devotees. This is not only when we are chanting, our mind is going, okay, I bring it back to the chanting. Not only this. Every time let us introspect. That's why there is introspective sage. This. What is this? 269. Mune. Pashyato mune. Mune means here introspective sage. Pashyataha. Introspective. We have to be pashyataha. We have to see where our mind is going. Yato yato nischalati. Chanchalam. Asthiram. Mind is going, but before we have noticed that mind has gone, it has gone to 50 places and came already. I mean, it is at the 50th place, sorry. It has gone to 50 different topics and we are at the 50th topic when we notice, oh, mind has gone somewhere. So slow reaction. And if we can't even see that, then it is very dangerous position we are in. Because today's verse, it is, we have to Atmanyeva Vasham Nayet, right? So to even notice that the mind has gone to, okay, now the mind has gone, let me bring it back. If I can't even notice the mind has gone, how am I going to bring it back? I will never bring back. I will just go with the flow and then fall down. No introspection. This is very, very important point. Pashyate, pashyataha mune. We have to see the active, the path that our mind is taking. This is very nicely explained in this verse. 5.6.2. Let's read the Sanskrit. It's not like a verse, it's like a prose. Rishiruvacha satyamuktam kintviva ekena manaso addha vishrambham anavasthanasya shathakirata iva sangachante. Sukadeva Goswami replied, "My dear king, you have spoken correctly. However, after capturing animals, a cunning hunter does not put faith in them." First thing, to be able to notice the mind's movements is that don't put faith in the mind. Because if we put faith in the mind, we don't really notice. Okay, just like if I, okay, this is my money, I'll give it to you, you just keep it. If I trust the person, I don't really watch over what he's doing with the money and all. Okay, I trust this person. I'm outsourcing the entire power of attorney to that person. He can use whatever. But he may cheat. If I don't trust, then always I'm keeping a watch. So, in order to watch our mind, we should not have faith in our mind. If we have faith in our mind, we will never watch. We think, I am like, Mahabhagavat. My mind is Samvai Manah Krishna Padaravindayo. I am at the lotus feet of Krishna. If I think that I am, what is that? Smartavya Satatam Vishnu. I am always thinking of Krishna. But if I don't notice that I am actually Vismartavya, I am actually not, there are so many gaps where I am not remembering Krishna. Just, what is that? Overlook. There is two words, oversee and overlook. Look and see. Here they say in Singapore, look-see, look-see. I have look-see, look-see only. That means I am window shopping. I am not buying. I look-see, look-see. So, actually look and see is pretty much almost the same. But overlook and oversee are absolute opposites. Overlook means you have not looked enough. I mean, you have something, slipped through the fingers. And oversee means to see that everything is going on nicely and oversee every part of the operation. So we have to oversee and not overlook. We cannot just look-see, whatever. You have to actually pay attention. So first thing is we cannot put faith in the mind. They might run away. So we have to treat it like an enemy. Anytime if we treat it like a friend, we will have trust in it. You see? So our mind is our enemy. Because yam yam yapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavita. Whatever our mind thought at the end of life, depending on that we got next body. How many bodies we have gotten? I mean, how many times the mind has thought of some rascaldom and then brought us into different bodies. So mind is taking us away all the time and keeping us in this material world. So it is actually our enemy. So to control it, we have to watch first. It can become our friend, yes, bandhura atma atmanastasya. But to make it our friend, we cannot listen to the mind, but we should instruct the mind. So to come to that position, we have to first not trust the mind. Similarly, those who are advanced in spiritual life do not put faith in the mind. Indeed, they always remain vigilant and watch the mind's action. So how does it look like? In practicality, how does it look like to watch the mind? So when our mind is thinking of something, we check first what I am thinking is correct or not, first of all. It may be right or may not be right. Doesn't matter. Don't trust it. Check. How to check? With whom I check? Sadhu Shastra Guru. Sadhu Shastra Guru Vakya Tinete Korya Aikya. So we have to check from Sadhu Shastra Guru, is it right? And sometimes, you know what happens? Like they said, devil side scriptures. We will, instead of trying to take instruction from the Shastra, we try to justify our mind's position with Shastra. Yes, Prabhu, Shastra, I have checked with Shastra. My mind fully, link is there. Krishna, I am doing right. I'll quote something. That's why there has to be sadhu. Because our mind, you see, our mind is so powerful. You saw Shastra also, still the mind will, yes, correct. I am doing that. And if we trust the mind, yes, my mind is doing what Shastra is saying. So that's why, even though we may be sure, again check with devotees, check with the spiritual master. Always consult the spiritual master. Like Arjuna. In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, he has brought up so many arguments, and he has come to a conclusion. I should not be fighting this. But then again, in the second chapter, in the beginning, he said, what is that? Na chaitad vidmah kataranno gariyo yadva jayema yadivano jayeyu. So I don't know what I have to do. I have come to this conclusion that I should not fight, but then as a Kshatriya, my duty is to fight. Now I don't know what to do. I have given so many reasons not to fight. But then this one thing I am not able to solve, that I am a Kshatriya, I have to fight, that how to justify this? And he repeatedly called Krishna as Madhusudana, Arisudhana. That means you are the killer of enemies. For you it was easy to kill. You have killed so many, you have won so many battles. Because you fought with enemies. I am fighting with Guru, what is that? Mahanubhava. I am dealing with Mahanubhava and Guru, those who are superiors. My Dronacharya, my Guru, and Bhishma, grandfather. So among elders and superiors and great souls, not just by age they are superior, but actually they are very great-hearted. So how to kill these people? You have killed demons only. So please instruct me. I am not able to understand. So he has quoted from Shastram so many things, that women must be protected, family dynasties must be preserved, and we should not, just for some kingdom, we should not be out of greed, we should not operate out of greed. Let them have it. So all sides he has analyzed, but he is not able to solve his problem. So the good thing is that he has noticed that he is unable to solve the problem, and he has a genuine confusion that he is unable to solve. There is an open loop he is not able to close. That's when he decided, okay, I have verified my statements from my thinking with Shastra, but still I am not able to solve. That honesty was there at least. Not that I am able to solve, I have concluded, Krishna, enough, I am going. No, please, Shadhi Mam, instruct me. Tvam prapannam, I have surrendered to you, I am your disciple now. Sishyasteham. So that is how we should be. A disciple means he must always consult with Guru. And never at a time we must not be a disciple. A disciple is never graduates from being a disciple. Like in material education there is graduation ceremony. But if there is a graduation ceremony from Krishna consciousness, that means it's fall down. If we have graduated from here, we have fallen down. It means never at a time we should be away from devotees. Prabhu, enough I have learnt. I think I have understood everything. Okay, I am now alumni, Hare Krishna alumni. You see, Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula hoy sadhu sangha. Krishna Prema Janme teho puna mukhyanga. Sundar Prabhu has been pointing us to this verse many times recently. See, the root cause of devotional service to Lord Krishna is association with advanced devotees. The root cause. But even when one's dormant love for Krishna awakens, association with devotees is still most essential. So we never graduate. Janme prabhushe chakshudan diloje. So we are always a servant. So at every moment we have to consult. So then our mind will be. Otherwise, how Goswami becomes Goswami? Because he always becomes dāsa of his spiritual master, dāsa of the sadhus, dāsa of Shastra, dāsa of Krishna, dāsa, anudāsa. Only when we become dāsa of Krishna, then we can become Swami of the go, senses, gobhir. But if we don't become a servant of Krishna, then we cannot become master of senses. So servant of spiritual master means not just Prabhu, yes Prabhu, I have initiated, now I am liberated. Initiated means liberation. Initiation means started only. So it's like I have started the race, so I have won the race. I have initiated, so I am liberated. What is this? So this is nonsense logic. So initiation means now You know what is initiation? Now I have officially denounced the power of attorney to my mind. That is the meaning. It means after initiation, anything that we do. In fact, it is said that Grihastha, even if he wants to have children, he must ask first permission from Guru. That much. Anything. There's nothing private, there's nothing self done. No, everything under the instruction. Of course, it doesn't mean can I eat? Can I drink a cup of water? Don't irritate the spiritual master. In fact, Prabhupada did not even put this rule that can I have children? He has 5,000 disciples, by the way. If everybody starts asking, can I have children? Can I have children? You have it. You chant 50 rounds and have it. So, but the thing is, there is some direction. So, in that way, we have to follow. The thing is, but the main thing is, we have to always consult. Then our mind, because never are we giving, then the mind will become our friend. When we bribe the mind will just take over. Give the mind a chance. Let's go to that verse. We have not, this is 562, right? 563, let's go to 563. Just like the hunter, even though he captures the animals, he does not put faith in them. They might run away. Of course they will run away. Who wants to be, thank you, I have been now captured. Who will be? No. Mind is also like that. Oh, now I have been captured, thank you. No, it will try to run away like that wild animal. Tatha choktam na kuriyat karhi chit sakhyam manasi hyanavasthite yad vishrambha chira chirnam chaskandata aishwaram. Nakuriyat karhichit sakhyam. Never should do at any time or with anyone sakhyam manasi in the mind. Never make friends with the mind. Very restless. Anavasthite. Sthite means in a place. Avasthite means situated in a place. Anavasthite means never situated in one place. Today also asthiram. See? Vishrambhat, from placing too much faith. Very good word. I'll show you where our Vishrambha should be reposed. Vishrambhat means from placing too much faith. Anything ends with at in Sanskrit means from that. From Vishrambha means Vishrambhat. Krishnat means from Krishna. Krishna deva samuthitam jagadidam. From Krishna generates innumerable universes. So anyway, Krishnat means from. So Vishrambhat means from placing too much faith. Chirat chirnam, chirat again at, from for a long time. You see? Or from a long time. Either way. Chirnam practice, chaskanda became disturbed, tapah aishwaram. So now, all the learned scholars have given their opinion. Tatha choktam. Tatha cha uktam. Opinion. The mind is by nature very restless, anavasthite, and one should not make friends with it. Nakuriyat karhichit sakhyam. If we place too full confidence in the mind, Vishrambhat, it may cheat us at any moment. What is the word for cheat? I want to see the cheat. It's not exactly mentioned like that, but it means that. So, it may cheat us. Cheating actually is chala. So it may cheat us at any moment. Even Lord Shiva became agitated upon seeing the Mohini form of Lord Krishna, and Saubhari Muni also fell down from the mature stage of yogic perfection. So now, next verse. Nityam dadati kamasya chidram tam manuyerayah yoginah kritamaitrasya patyur jayeva pumschali. There is a comparison of the mind. Pumschali. You know what is pumschali? Pum means pumsaha, man. Pumschali. Chali means moving. moving from one man to another man. Pumschali means a woman who moves from one man to another man, prostitute. So mind is like the prostitute. It's not chaste. Chaste means only remembering Krishna. So now our mind is like a prostitute. An unchaste woman is very easily carried away by paramours. And it sometimes happens that her husband is violently killed by her paramours. Many murder cases happen like this. If the yogi gives his mind a chance and does not restrain it, his mind will give facility to enemies like lust, anger, greed, and they will doubtlessly kill the yogi. Not kill, may kill the yogi, no. It may kill the, no, doubtlessly. Without a doubt will kill the yogi. What is that? So, Nityam dadati kamasya. See, it always gives ideas for sense gratification of his mind. So, when we are saying about yato yato nischalati, manah chanchalam astiram, tato tato niyamya. So, at all times we have to be introspective. That is the word, introspection. And in the beginning, we cannot do it. We are not so sensitive to wear our mind. We are not used to think of the mind as a separate entity and watch the mind. We always thought we and the mind are one. I am thinking. No. You see what you are thinking. You see what the mind is thinking. So, separate your identity from the mind, first of all. So, in the beginning, it's very difficult. That's why neophytes, they have to stay in association of devotees, because the devotees can notice. When a devotee's mind is gone, other devotees can notice. He may not be able to notice. Actually, there is a verse like that. When one is overcome by Maya, the one who is overcome by Maya cannot see that he is overcome by Maya. That is the meaning of illusion. Illusion means not only is he cheated, but he cannot see that he is cheated also. Pashyan napi na pashyati. Even though he is seeing, he cannot see. Just like when we look at a magician, we are looking at him. In front of our eyes, he is cheating us. And we are paying money, ticket. Please cheat me. And in front of our eyes, right in front of our eyes, in broad daylight, he is doing it. And we are paying money. See how I am cheating. I am enjoying being cheated. This is our material life. We enjoy being cheated. There is of course, this is for materialists, it is a very heavy verse. Din ka dakini, raat ka baghini, palak palak rahu chuse. Actually, okay. Tulsidas poetry. Din ka dakini, raat ka baghini, पलक पलक रहू चुषे, दुनिया सब भोरा होए, घर घर बाघिनी पुसे. So he said, of course Prabhupada said this especially for the materialists, that wife is compared here to two. One is a tigress. Baghini means tigress, and Dakini means witch. Din ka Dakini, morning she is witch, and Raat ka Baghini, in the night she is tigress. There are vampires who drink blood, like that. So in the morning, the man is going and blood, sweat, tears, he is working and bringing money. Because of that, he has to lose his blood to work so hard. And in the night, sex life. Semen is nothing but concentrated blood. So din ka dakini, raat ka baghini, palak palak rahu chuse, every moment sucking blood. Duniya sab bhora hoye, ghar ghar baghini puse. But in the people of this world are so much in illusion, they are paying. They are inviting, please come and stay in my house. Tigress, your tigress, come. Witch, come. Stay in my house. Duniya sab bhora hoye means they are so illusion, like, and every house there is one tigress and witch. So in other words, our valuable time is taken away by these household distractions. And literally sucking the blood. So this is an example of illusion. When we think that illusion is actually enjoyment. Why everybody is keeping tigress? They think that is enjoyment. Keeping a tigress is enjoyment. Never mind, suck my blood, never mind. If somebody steals the wallet, 999. Wife steals the wallet, darling. So, same thing actually. In effect, he has earned money, somebody took. This person took or another person took, somebody took his hard-earned money. But different reaction. We pay for the same thing. Prabhupada said mosquito, little milliliters of blood, little bit kill. But whole life sucking blood, nothing. Oh, this is my home sweet home. What is that, darling? So, of course, spiritual household life is different. There's a grahastha ashram. Ashram means a place where spiritual culture is there. So, the center should be Krishna. Otherwise, it will be like this. Din ka dakini, raat ka baghini. So, it is a vampire and what is a haunted house. So, home sweet home, actually the haunted house. There's a witch there. So, we have to be, if you don't want witch, then we have to be Krishna conscious. That is the only way. Then it is an ashram, grahastha. He says staying in a house, but actually there is an ashram. Graha medhi. Medhi means axis. His axis is graha. Wherever he goes around that graha only. He may travel far and wide, but is not called sannyasi because he is attached to the graha. Because every time he comes back, and he is earning there also because of here. This is his axis of his movements. Wherever he is going around that axis of graha medhi. And ultimately it boils down to sex life. Why you have to have house? Why it's only because of sex life. So in this way, but if it is used for Krishna service, that is different. Whole thing changes. So anyway, the illusion is that we cannot see when we are in Maya. Actually, there is a verse like that. I don't know if anybody can take out that the person who is in Maya, Prabhu showed once. He cannot see that he is in Maya. Okay, Pasyanapina Pashyati is one thing actually. Let's go to that. There is another verse also, by the way. What is that? देहापत्य कलत्रादिषु आत्मसैन्येषु असत्स्वपि तेषां प्रमत्तो निधनं पश्यन्नपि न पश्यति. This is also quite nicely described. Persons devoid of Atma Tattva do not inquire into the problems of life because they first of all don't see a problem. Being too attached to the fallible souls like the body, children and wife, although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see their inevitable destruction. Pashyan api na pashyati. So pashyato mune means we have to be introspective. A devotee should be introspective, and that's when only we can bring the mind under control. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained that gardening. We have done I think Tattvadarshan show about it. Transcendental gardening lessons of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from 19th chapter of Madhya Lila, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is asking every devotee to be a very careful gardener. Bhagavad Gita also, our body is compared to a field. And with a field we can do anything. We can grow poisonous flowers and kill everybody, or we can, have paddy, or whether we can have tomatoes or potato, whatever. Field is there. What we do with the field. Now, so the human body is a field. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also said compared to a garden. So what are we growing in that garden? What are the seeds that we are taking? The seed is as you sow, so shall you reap. Bible also says. As you sow, so shall you reap. According to the seed, you will get a fruit. So that is karma. So what we do, that will eventually bear fruit. So now, what are the seeds? What are the ideas? What are the concepts or viewpoint of life are we imbibing from our association? Those are the seeds that we are taking and cultivating in our heart, nourishing them. So, Guru Krishna Prasada Pai Bhaktilata Beej. If we sow the seed of devotion in our heart, in the field of our heart, in the garden of our heart, then it has to be nourished with watering, which is Shravanam and Kirtanam. And it is said there that as the creeper is growing healthy, in a healthy way, the water will also nourish other seeds which may be there without our voluntary effort. Weeds they are called. So these weeds, the water will nourish them also. The weeds will also grow along with the bhakti creeper. So if we don't watch, this is called introspection. Yato yato nischalat manastanchalam astra. Niyamya means to bring it under control. Vashe. How to do that? We have to watch whether there is any weed or not. Farmer, he will see. Because he has to have harvest and a profit from that. So we should similarly be like a farmer. Sometimes garden may be a hobby. Okay, my plant destroyed, never mind. I'll try something else. But a farmer, his livelihood depends on that. So, it's not just a hobby garden, gardening like a hobby. No, our life depends on it. Like a farmer, if he doesn't get profit, sometimes they commit suicide, in India. So, our life is at stake, our whole eternal life is at stake. So, it is very carefully we have to, for a hobbyist gardener, some thing grows on the side, he will not notice, or okay, you know what, I don't have green fingers, I'll do something else, I may be good at something. But here, I cannot afford to be not good as a farmer. Whether I'm not good or good, I have to learn it and I have to make it happen. So, that's how actually our life is. We have to have a harvest, bountiful harvest. So for that, we have to note any weeds, immediately take out at the slightest appearance. So therefore, we have to notice whether anything is cropping up. Or sometimes it doesn't have to crop up. We may see an example of another person, like Vishwamitra Muni, for example. Vishwamitra Muni, there is an example, how he fell down. So great, so careful but still fell down. That means because he did not take shelter of Krishna. He was on his own strength as a yogi, he did not take shelter of Yogeshwar, fell down. So, I should not do that, I should take shelter of Krishna. So and it not only has to be Vishwamitra, there are many mini Vishwamitras in our world. I mean, we can just take note of even day-to-day examples. We can see who, and any bad examples or good examples, we can always take into our learning. We can see and learn, hear and learn, or experience and learn. Sometimes after experience also, you don't learn. Some people say, learning by experience is the best way to learn. That is for the third class fellow. It's like, if I steal, I go to jail. I want to really understand this law. I want to actually steal and see what happens. Then I go to jail. Okay, now I understand this. That is foolish way of learning. Learning by experience. They say hands-on. Nowadays, some things don't have to be learned hands-on. Yes, good things, yes, you learn hands-on. Like service, yes, you come and do service here. You cannot, learn about service, become perfect in the understanding, and then come and do service for washing pots. What is it? Come and wash pot, then you will become perfect. So that is one thing. But to learn something is bad, like fire burns. Really? I want to understand this. No, that's a foolish way of understanding. Better way of understanding is hear it, stay far away. I don't want the Agni Pariksha. I am not as pure as Sita. I will be burnt on the other side. I will come out burnt, black. So that's what will happen to us. So let me not touch. So that is a proper way of learning, especially about pitfalls. So we can learn from other people's pitfalls. So in all ways we have to, be introspective and then take guidance. Now before we end, just one last thing. Vishrambhat means putting full faith in the mind. Now where we have to put Vishrambhat, that is explained here. 7, 30 and 31. Guru Shushrūshaya Bhaktya Sarvalabdharpanena Cha Sangena Sadhu Bhaktanam Ishvararadhanena Cha Shraddhaya Tatkathayam Cha Kirtanayarguna Karmanam Tatpadamburu Hadhyana Tallingeksharhanadibhi. There's no Vishrambhat here, but in the purport it is there. But this is actually a very important verse because this is actually how to be a disciple. One must accept the bona fide spiritual master and render service unto him with great devotion and faith. This great devotion and faith, Shushrushaya, that is the word. It is very similar to Vishrambha. Very similar. Bhaktya, see, with faith and devotion. Now, whatever one has in one's possession should be offered to the spiritual master. Nothing is ours. Everything is the spiritual master's. And in the association of saintly persons and devotees, one should worship the Lord. Hear the glories of the Lord with faith. Glorify the transcendental qualities and activities of the Lord. Always meditate on the Lord's lotus feet and worship the deity of the Lord strictly according to the injunctions of Shastra and Guru. This is the sum total of all activities of a disciple. Now, in the purport, let's see. This verse is there. This is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami's. See Vishrambhena. See here. Gurupadashrayastasmat Krishna Dikshadi Shikshanam Vishrambhena Guroh Seva Sadhu Vartmanuvartanam Saddharma Prichha Bhogadi Tyagah Krishnasya Hetave. One's first duty is to accept a bona fide spiritual master. The student or disciple should be very inquisitive and he should be eager to know the complete truth about eternal religion, Sanatana Dharma. The words Guru Shushrusha, of course, this. So Guru Shushrushanam, and here Vishrambhena means with great devotion and faith. So we should not have faith in the mind. Vishrambhat Chirat Chirnam, Anavasthite, that mind. But we have to have Vishrambha for Guru. So in other words, Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, Guru, Vakya, Tinete Korya Aikya. That's how we can stay away from the mind and control it. So in the association of devotees only it is possible. So this is the whole sum and substance of this verse. So if you have any questions or comments, you can ask. I would like to stop here otherwise. Anybody has a yes?
The concept of like family soul and social body is somehow easy to understand. Where we see that matter is dull, matter cannot think, matter has no consciousness. But I have consciousness, so I must be distinct from matter. That's part of it. But how do I make myself distinct from my mind as well? Because on one point when you say I accept taking initiation, I accept Krishna's personal world, there isn't that I did. But the moment I am running away, that is my mind is doing, someone else is doing. So isn't that hypocrisy?
So it is always I am doing it with the help of my mind, either way. But Arambha, whose plan is it? If I am going away, I am making the plan. But if I am taking initiation, I am following Krishna's plan. Krishna said, take initiation. Tadvidhi pranipadayana pariprashana sevaya.
Where is the mind involved in that decision? Where is the mind?
The mind is that I agree to Krishna or I disagree with Krishna. These two things we can do. So the mind is not the problem. But because I cannot control the mind takes over and becomes our enemy. But if the mind is under control, because the mind under the influence of Maya will never say that I will become a disciple of the Guru. So to make the mind agree, Chetas Chintaya Kirtaya Swarasanem. So Mukundamala Stotra, the Chetas Chintaya, he is ordering his mind, always think of Krishna, or mind. Think of Krishna. So that is Krishna's order I am following. Here I am making my own plan. The mind, in both cases mind. But in one case, the mind is leading us. In other case, we are leading the mind. And making it surrender to Krishna. Or the mind is saying, no, don't surrender, so I am subscribing to the mind's philosophy and going away. Manorathe nasate. The chariot of the mind.
The question was, how do I realize that I am distinct from the mind? Am I distinct from my mind or not?
Yes.
So how do I understand that?
Because you say my mind, we think with the mind. But
what is my faculty to think? isn't the thought emanates from the root of consciousness, which is my soul?
Of course, if the mind is always there with the soul. The subtle body is there in all our lifetimes.
Yes.
Now, how to understand it is different from us is because we are thinking with the mind. That is a tool. We are chanting with the mouth, which is a tool. You may say the soul is chanting or the mouth is chanting. The soul is chanting through the mouth. The soul is thinking through the mind. It's like a driver is driving through the car. He is moving through the car with the help of the car. He is a driver. The car is not moving. He is moving. Sometimes the car goes out of control and he accident. So, like that, his mind can go out of control. But if he has control over the mind, then he can make it move where he wants it to go. You see? It is a tool, it is a vehicle. But without Krishna's instruction, it is like the accident car, which is swerved out of control. And then the person sitting inside the car suffers because of the overturned car. So the mind, when it takes us like that, so that time we don't have control. The mind is pulling us here and there. So, but when we can control, then we have the control. So that control means there has to be rules and regulations, and we have to have the know-how of how to drive, what are the rules I have to follow on the road. So that's why there are rules and regulations. If I conduct myself, then yes, mind will be under control and I can make it move where I want it to move. Otherwise, if I don't know how to drive, just press anything and do anything. That's why there is license process. We are trained to use. That's why there are rules and regulations. That's how we can understand. Okay, I think some quotes are here. Nine 527. Really? Okay. 9.5.27. Let's go to 9.5.27. That gross body and subtle body, how they have to be used. One five? That's what. I knew it was first come. How come is ninth come to a fake news? Okay. Okay, here, let's see this part. Since the gross and subtle bodies are emanations from the personality of Godhead, the knowledge of light permits one to engage both of them in the service of the Lord, as opposed to darkness, which is ignorance. The gross body should be engaged in acts of rendering service to the Lord, as in bringing water, cleansing the temple, or making obeisances, etc. The path of archana, or worshipping the Lord in the temple, involves engaging one's gross body in the service of the Lord. Similarly, the subtle mind should be engaged in hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, thinking about them, chanting His name, etc. All such activities are transcendental. None of the gross or subtle senses should otherwise be engaged. So our gross body and subtle body has to be used in Krishna's service in this way. I think another question was there. This is the gardening lesson Tattvavit episode, and Antya 15.7. Dimitri Prabhu is Antya 15.17. Eka Ashva. Ashva means what? Horse. Eka Kshane Pancha Pancha Dike Tane. Eka Mana Kaun Dike Jaye. Eka Kale Sabe Tane. Gela Ghodar Parane. E Dukha Sahana Na Jaye. Very nicely described. My mind is just like a single horse being ridden by the 5 senses of perception, headed by sight. Each of my senses wants to ride that horse, and thus they pull my mind in 5 directions simultaneously. In what direction will it go? If they all pull at one time, certainly the horse will lose its life. How can I tolerate this atrocity? Beautiful. In Bhagavad Gita, it's compared to what is that verse? The 5 senses are like the horses, and the mind is like the driver, and then the soul is the passenger. So there it is compared to 5 horses, 5 senses, and if the 5, basically the same thing. So if 5 horses pull the chariot in 5 different directions, the chariot will be broken, falling, and here the horse will lose its life if all the senses. The chariot driver of Indra, Matali. Matali is the chariot driver of Indra. His chariot has 1,000 horses. And he conducts the horses in such a way that as if they have one mind. Complete synchrony. As if they have one mind. That's how he conducts the 1,000 horses of Indra. Chariot. Matali. So that's how we should be like Matali. Our mind. 1,000 horses, 1,000 directions. Airavat is one thing, but when he was on the war, sometimes he also takes a chariot. And then Matali drives, and he has his divine horses, there too, 1,000 divine horses, which can even fly. So he conducts them. He said that in the Mahabharata, Ramayana also, that he conducts them as if they have one mind. That's how much synchrony. That's how expert we must be like. So, anything else? 634 purport. Dimitri is saying, okay, Dimitri Prabhu has become a scholar. Dimitri Prabhu is from Russia, Bhakta Dimitri. 634. I thought there's a verse also. Is it? Katha Upanishad, very good. Atmanam rathinam vidhi shariram rathamevacha. Shariram rathamevacha. Buddhim tu sarathim vidhi. Buddhi is the sarathi. Manah pragrahamevacha. What is pragraham? I don't know. Oh, the rein, I think. Indriyani hayanahur. Haya means horse. Haya sirsha. Vishayam stu gocharan. The sense objects. And Atmendriyamano yuktam bhoktetyahur manishinaha. This is very good verse. This is the verse. The individual is the passenger in the car of the material body, and the intelligence is the driver. Mind is the driving instrument, and the senses are the horses. The self is thus the enjoyer or sufferer in the association of the mind and senses. So it is understood by the great thinkers. So intelligence is supposed to direct the mind, but the mind is so strong and obstinate that it often overcomes even one's own intelligence, as an acute infection may surpass the efficacy of medicine. The word efficacy is very popular now. So such a strong mind is supposed to be controlled by the practice of yoga, but such practice is never practical for a worldly person like Arjuna. So alright, so I think I'll stop here. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Gaur Premanande, Hare Krishna.